For the Stoic Men tribe today, we're diving into an important lesson, a moment of clarity, strength, and ancient wisdom. Let's break it down. Today we're learning 10 things intelligent people avoid for a life of clarity and power. In a world that constantly demands your attention, the truly intelligent don't just chase knowledge, they master discernment. They don't just know things, they know what to walk away from. Because wisdom isn't just what you add, it's what you refuse to let in. So here are 10 things intelligent people avoid. Not because they're better than anyone else, but because they've learned the price of peace, the value of time, and the weight of wasted energy. Before we continue, if this resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's get into it. First, pointless arguments. Intelligent people know. Just because you can win an argument doesn't mean it's worth having. They avoid debating with people who only want to win, not understand. They don't need to prove themselves in every room, because they've outgrown the addiction to being right. They ask, will this conversation lead to growth, or just ego collisions? They protect their peace by knowing when silence speaks louder than logic, because in the end, you never win an argument with someone committed to misunderstanding you. 2. Emotional reactivity. Emotions aren't enemies, but they aren't commanders either. Intelligent people don't let temporary feelings cause permanent damage. They breathe before reacting. They reflect before responding, because they know emotional control is power, not repression, but clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Intelligent people avoid being puppets of their impulses. They master themselves, and in doing so, master the moment. 3. Environments that drain their energy. Some places feel like quicksand. The longer you stay, the more of yourself you lose. Smart people feel the shift, the heaviness of gossip, the tension in fake smiles, the undercurrent of competition disguised as friendship. They don't stay out of loyalty to dysfunction. They leave. Because they value alignment over attachment. They ask, does this place help me grow, or does it shrink me? They avoid spaces where their soul goes hungry. 4. Relationships without mutual respect. It's not about perfection, it's about reciprocity. Intelligent people don't beg for effort, don't chase affection, don't tolerate condescension disguised as jokes. They understand you can love someone and still let them go if they refuse to respect your boundaries. Smart people avoid one-sided relationships because self-respect is not negotiable. They don't cling to people who remember your mistakes but forget your worth. 5. Seeking validation from the wrong sources. Intelligent people have stopped measuring their worth by who claps or who criticizes. They've outgrown the need for approval from crowds that don't even know themselves. They don't need to be liked by everyone, just respected by the right ones, because they know validation that has to be chased is never real, and peace that depends on public opinion is never lasting. They avoid the trap of building a life that looks good to others but feels empty inside. 6. Wasting time on things that don't matter. Time is their currency, and they spend it wisely. They avoid scrolling endlessly, gossiping aimlessly, or chasing goals they don't actually care about. They ask, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, they stop feeding it energy. Intelligent people live intentionally, because they know life is too short to live distracted. 7. Letting ego run the show. Ego says, I already know. Wisdom says, there's always more to learn. Smart people avoid the trap of thinking they've arrived. They stay teachable, curious, humble. They admit when they're wrong. They listen more than they speak. They don't need to dominate the room. They read it because they understand. Real intelligence is quiet. It listens. It observes. It adapts. 8. revenge, and grudges. They've learned not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves your energy. Intelligent people don't carry grudges, not because they won't hurt, but because healing is more powerful than hatred. They avoid revenge because they know the Stoic truth. The best revenge is to be unlike the one who hurt you. They use betrayal as fuel, not a chain. 9. Complaining. Without action, smart people don't sit in victimhood. They don't waste time whining about what's wrong if they're not willing to work toward what's right. They vent, sure, but they follow that with movement, solutions, progress, because they know constant complaining is a habit of the powerless, and they are not powerless. 10. Living without meaning. At the core of intelligence is not just logic, but purpose. Intelligent people avoid hollow success. They avoid careers that pay well but drain the soul. They avoid living a life scripted by others' expectations. They seek depth, purpose, legacy. They ask, what am I here to give? Who do I become by the way I live? They understand that a meaningful life isn't always the easiest, but it's the only one worth waking up for. Conclusion. Intelligent people don't avoid these things because they're afraid. They avoid them because they understand. They know the cost of chaos, the trap of ego, and the quiet beauty of a well-guarded mind. So if you're on the path of growth, ask yourself, what do I need to stop entertaining? What habits or people do I need to release to rise? Because your life expands not just by what you reach for, but by what you refuse to carry. Let go, live light, and move forward with strength, clarity, and peace. 5 ways to live a life of clarity and power. In a world built on noise, clarity is a rebellion. In a culture that glorifies control, true power is presence. We were not born to live in confusion, chasing approval, drowning in distraction, forgetting who we are. We were made to see clearly, to walk with intention, to speak with weight, to move with a purpose that cannot be shaken by circumstance. So how do you live a life that is both clear and powerful? Let's go deep. 1. Know what you stand for. Clarity starts with values, not trends, not opinions, not popularity. Values. What will you never trade for comfort? What do you protect even when no one's watching? What do you believe in, even if the world stops applauding? Because when you know what you stand for, you stop being manipulated by what others expect. You stop drifting with every wind of doubt or drama. You become rooted, centered, like a tree in a storm, bending but never breaking. Power is not about dominating others. It's about mastering your position in the storm and choosing your response when chaos comes knocking. If you don't define your values, the world will define them for you, and you'll wake up one day a stranger to your own soul. 2. Cut through the noise. We are addicted to overstimulation, scrolling, comparing, performing, always reacting, rarely reflecting. Clarity is not found in doing more. It's found in doing less, but with purpose. Turn down the volume of the world so you can hear the wisdom within you. Disconnect to reconnect. Take walks in silence. Journal your thoughts without filters. Unplug from the algorithm and reconnect with your intention. Because if your mind is constantly full of noise, your life will be full of confusion. You can't find clarity in chaos. And you can't claim power in a life you're not conscious in. So simplify. Declutter your digital life. Detach from drama. Say no more often, so your yeses actually mean something. 3. Guard your energy. Like gold, energy is your real currency. Not money, not time. Energy. Who you give it to. What you spend it on. How you restore it. Determines the quality of your life. Powerful people are not always loud. They're often the ones who refuse to waste energy on battles that don't matter, on people who drain their spirit, on proving their worth to the wrong crowd. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this matter in 5 years? Does this align with who I'm becoming? Or just who I used to be? You owe no one unlimited access to your mind. Set boundaries without guilt. Protect your peace without apology. Because when you give away your energy to everything, you have nothing left for what matters. 4. Be brutally honest with yourself. Clarity demands courage. The courage to face your fears, your failures, your flaws, without sugarcoating, without excuses. Intelligent people don't avoid their darkness. They study it. They mine it for wisdom. They ask, where am I sabotaging myself? What patterns am I repeating? What truth have I been running from? Self-awareness isn't always comfortable, but it's the gateway to freedom. You can't live a life of clarity if you're lying to yourself. You can't walk in power if you're still pretending to be who you're not. True strength comes from alignment, when your inner world matches your outer actions, when you don't have to perform, because you're real. Face yourself. Own your story. Rewrite the chapters that no longer serve you, and let truth be the foundation you build your life upon. 5. Commit to what truly matters. Here's the secret most people miss. Power is not in control. It's in commitment. Not to everything, but to the essential. To your purpose. To your values. To your growth. To the few people who make you feel at home in your skin. Commitment creates momentum, and momentum creates clarity. When you stop flirting with distractions and start moving with devotion, you become unstoppable. Choose one or two things that matter. Give them your full attention. Go deep instead of wide. Don't just chase opportunities. Build something sacred with your energy. Because when you commit fully to what you believe in, to who you are, to the life that calls you, you awaken a power that cannot be copied because it is yours alone. Closing reflection. A clear mind is a rare gift. A powerful presence is a trained force, and both are built not in noise, but in intentional silence. So live like this. With vision, not just sight. With purpose, not just plans. With peace, not just productivity. Live clear. Live true. Live powerful. And never forget. The world doesn't need more people who conform. It needs more people who see clearly and stand strong. If this resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.